Hey everybody, I have a bit of a special video for you today. Check out all these goodies. This is the Happy Pup collection from Scrappin Happy Studios. I requested this for my design team projects for December and January. They're so stinking cute. I'm showing you all the bits and pieces that you get. There's metal flare, epoxy flare, these adorable die cuts. And then you get some paper. So Scrappin Happy Studio has kind of expanded. They have more than just this amazing epoxy flare. These papers are one-sided, so you don't have to worry about making tough decisions. They are on really nice, thick cardstock, and they are 8.5 by 11. So I'm just showing you all the patterns, and then we're going to go ahead and get creating with this kit. I'm actually going to do a bit of a school album with this kit. I have some photos here of Logan in 8th grade, and during 8th grade, he quite often was reading books and studying with a puppy dog by his side, so that was what I wanted to document for today's layout. I'm going to go ahead and grab these adorable waffle flower craft dies, and I'm going to make my own thickers for my page. They're kind of off to the side there. I made them off camera. And now I'm going to cut a whole bunch of squares. I'm actually going to cut every pattern in this collection. I'm going to cut, I think I did 3 or 4 2x2 squares of each of the patterns. I'm pretty sure that that was what I cut. Once I had them all cut, I'm going to go ahead and line them with a black gel pen. The black gel pen that I am using is from Cocoa Daisy. I use their pens all the time because I get one in every one of my kits, and they're so nicely made. I really, really love them. I've actually stopped buying my Muji pens because I kind of like these better. And I'm just going to line my squares with this nice black doodly border. All the squares. Seems like such a little detail, but it really adds to my layout. Absolutely. Next up, this is the orange polka dot paper that I used to make my title with my thickers, and so I want to go ahead and use it again to back my photo, so it's in more than one place on my finished project. Once I have my photos into place, I'm using my T-square ruler to help me get them nice and straight, and I'm just tacking them down in the middle because I want to be able to work with these squares around my layout. I'm keeping this design simple. This isn't anything new. I'm not reinventing the wheel for today's layout. I'm using something that I like and that is kind of tried and true and in my wheelhouse. So I am taking those 2x2 squares, I am creating diamonds with them, and I'm going to tuck them in and around my photos, creating a little bit of a pattern. I'm going to go from the top left to the bottom right, and I'm just trying to make sure that the same pattern doesn't end up beside each other. So 2 of the same pattern, I don't want them beside each other. Close is fine, but I don't want them, next to each other. So I'm going to kind of go through and get these patterns the way that I like them. I end up using them all the squares. I just kind of kept filling them in and around. I knew I needed to keep a little bit of white space so that my eye could rest, but otherwise I think I used almost all of them. So once I kind of had them into an arrangement that I like, I'm just going to grab my tape runner and tape them all down. I made sure to have some of the squares hanging off the page so I could snip them off. This creates the look of having them kind of falling across the page. And I really, really like how that came out. Next up, I'm going to grab 2 matching labels. These are principal labels from Nicole Jones 911. I'm just going to grab 2 and do my journaling onto them. I found the perfect shade of green and blue to match my page. Next up, I'm going to go ahead and get my homemade thickers onto my page. So what I did was I die cut my letters with the polka dot paper, and then I die cut 3 more letters using white cardstock, and then I just glued them all together. So they have a nice dimensional feel to them. They're not flat against the page, and I really, really like how they look like that. I'm going to grab my tags, do some journaling, making sure to add the date and what grade Logan was in. That's always important because I do not scrapbook chronologically. So I need to make sure that every one of his school pages, I have annotated somewhere what grade he was in so that I don't mess up his school album. I'm going to pop a tiny attacher into those two labels that I've journaled on, and I'm just going to pop them right up into that little corner there above my smaller photo. And then we can start playing with all of the beautiful embellishments in this kit. First up, we have die cuts. So many die cuts. These die cuts are nice and colorful. They're on really nice cardstock. They are large, so I'm not going to need a lot. I'm going to grab 3 that I think work well with my photo and work well with the scale of the other items on my page, and that's all I will need to use for this one. So there are 4 there, not 3. I miscounted. Next up, I'm going to grab the epoxy flare and the flare badges. If you have been around my channel for, well, ever, because this is kind of my jam, you guys know how much I love flares and epoxy flares and all the circle embellishments. Circles are my jam. So I am going to add 3, I don't remember, 3 or 4? 3. 3 of the epoxy flares and 1 of the larger metal flares. I'm going to get that metal flare onto my page using red line tape so we don't have rusty issues in years to come. And then the rest of those epoxy flares will go down with just my tape runner. Epoxy flares are really cool like that. You don't want wet adhesive, you want just nice dry adhesive on them. Such a super cute collection of products. Here are all of the close-ups. I will leave a link below to this Happy Pup collection. You can pick it up over in the Scrappin Happy Studio store. And yeah, it's so, so cute. Have a fabulous day, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.